Should we cancel Thanksgiving? As a socially conscious woman or socially conscious person, maybe you've been thinking, is it time to cancel Thanksgiving? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Loveable as Fuck show with Sherry Yazzie. I am a plus-size indigenous woman in a world that tells me not to love myself. I fucking do. Here's how I do it. If you are a woman building a socially conscious business that believes making money and doing good in the world go hand in hand, then you're invited to the Uprising. It is a safe space to be seen and supported by powerful women doing the work to show up fully in life and business with networking, masterminding, and genius business strategy to help you hit your next level. To find out more, go to beloveableaf.com. So that's www.beloveableaf.com. BELOVEABLEAF.com. Is it time to cancel Thanksgiving? As a socially conscious person, you probably are like, there's some pretty unpleasant stuff around this. What do we do? Do we reclaim it? How do we do this? So this episode is all about that. From a biracial woman, I'm part indigenous, part Navajo, actually. And this is my perspective on it. So I was thinking of it like, I don't know if you remember that Adam Ruins Everything. I was kind of like, maybe I should entitle this Sherry Ruins Thanksgiving. But anyway, in case you don't actually know the actual history of Thanksgiving, because that's not what we're taught. And that is a big part of the problem for me with Thanksgiving, because even sitting in school, listening to there was the big feast with the pilgrims. And I mean, like where I went to school, they made the headdresses and people dressed as pilgrims. I mean, the whole thing. And even sitting there, though, I was like, but it didn't end well. Like, okay, cool. Maybe the natives saved you all, but then you went and murdered them all, with the exception of a few lucky of us, right? And it was horribly sad, and everybody just pretends like it's not. And that was the thing that was really difficult for me. I was like, I don't understand why people don't get this. It would be like expecting Jewish people to celebrate a holiday that came about because of the Holocaust, and then just having them act like it's an okay thing, because it's not. And that's the thing. It's like, it's these things that we can't or don't name or don't really share what actually happened. There can be no healing. So you think about if you had a big childhood trauma and everybody knew it and you knew it and everybody was like clear that it had happened, you would know that there was some healing work to do there. But let's say you had one and everybody pretended it didn't happen. That never happened. Nope, that's not what happened. Actually, you know what? They were the best, whatever they were to you. And they were amazing. And that's the history that everybody wanted you to believe. It is so much more damaging because you can't do the work. Because you're like, but that's not what I remember. That's not how it actually went. But if everybody agrees that it is, that's the first step. It's like really uncovering the real shit. So here we go. Are you ready? So in 1637, John Winthrop, who was the governor at the time, he made Thanksgiving a holiday because of the slaughter of hundreds of indigenous men, women, and children by colonial soldiers. That's literally where it started. I mean, there's lots of different historians go back and forth and argue, and of course, everybody has their own bend, but this was a holiday that was celebrated, and it was celebrated specifically because it was a massacre of indigenous peoples. And then Lincoln got a hold of the story, and he got a hold of the story around that, the tribe, fed the settlers and all this. And he used it in the Civil War to create holidays to help promote unity, right? And this story that like the natives kind of like gave the land, like was reinforced as immigrants were coming into the country and people were pissed about it. Okay. So this was used as a political agenda to forward the political agenda to forward colonialism and to forward America. And so what I want people to understand is the problem is by covering over the violence and cruelty to indigenous people, it really is a complete and total mindfuck for any indigenous kid out there at school. It is confusing and upsetting, and I have hated Thanksgiving my whole life. And I saw something today, and it was like historians, some of them are talking about maybe a better term would be takes giving. Oh, takes giving. And that right there, it lightened it up for me. And I was like, yes, that's a better term. Happy Takesgiving, you know? Let's be clear what's happening. And there's a group, a United American Indians of the United American Indians of New England, who have a public day of mourning on the day. So that's what people are celebrating. And I understand that what people think they're celebrating is this cotton candy version of what happened that never happened, or didn't happen in the way that it was pitched, right? And so I'm not saying, if you all have been celebrating Thanksgiving, that you're, bad people and it's not okay. No, you were taught something. I'm saying let's actually start reclaiming it in a way that actually honors what happened, what actually happened. Because what happened in that relationship, even the tribe that it's based off and the settlers there, was massacres and disease. I mean, so many Native Americans' lives were lost there. So many people were killed. And that's the truth behind Thanksgiving. So there you go. That's the Sherry ruined of Thanksgiving version. So what can we do, right? Because that's unfortunate and that's awful. But like I said, we don't want to cover it up because we can't heal it if we don't know it. So for me, it's knowing the real story, honoring the real story, and most importantly, not teaching the propaganda bullshit side that is not fucking true. That's the part that's really damaging. If you have kids in school, if you are a teacher, this is where you can make a real difference for any Native kid in your school. Any kid at all, because literally and I'm not saying we tell this to 5-year-olds. I'm not saying, you need to be traumatizing, but here's the thing. You can still do this in a different version. You can still talk about this in a different way. And if people grow up with an actual real life version of what happened, we can heal it. And from there, we can reclaim it, right? Harvest festivals, harvest days, that's been a thing since anyone knows. Everyone has them. Every tradition has them. Every continent, every kind of people. Because we want to celebrate the harvest and we want to feel thankful. And I absolutely do. I just don't want to feel thankful on top of massacres and miswritten history. Okay? So how do we do that, right? We really do. We honor the peoples whose land you're on, right? And you can reclaim it as your own Thanksgiving or harvest festival, whatever it is, but take that extra step to honor the people. And how do we honor the people whose land you're on? Buy from them, find them, buy from them. A lot of people Native indigenous people have businesses, have things to sell, right? Donate to causes, donate to indigenous causes. That is just a really simple way. It can become a tradition. This could be taught in classrooms. To take it back and have it be a harvest festival where part of it is donating back to Native Americans, to indigenous peoples. And here's the reality. I understand that we all have our family dynamics. We all have people that we love and maybe aren't going to move on this. They're not going to shift on this, and that's okay. So for me, in my life, I am not going to be. We are going to have a dinner on Thursday. That's just the way it is. Some people in my life who are my family, who I love and think are wonderful, it's a tradition that they love, and so we're going to do it. When I'm the matriarch, we won't be doing that. We'll be traveling and doing other things. But so what I want to say is, even if you personally can reclaim it for yourself. You can know the history. You can talk about the history. You can advocate for the history with all the people that you know. And you can reclaim it and still be able to be with your family. Because the reality is, it's been a long fucking year. It's been a long fucking 2 years. And having time off together with our families to really enjoy one another, that right there is important and needed. And so I don't want to ruin that, right? I don't want anybody to forego that. But we can also acknowledge what happened, what actually happened, and reclaim it in a way that we can really, truly soak up and enjoy our families. Be with our families, appreciate them for who they are and where they're at, and love on them and accept love from them, and take this and have it recharge us in such a beautiful way while honoring what actually happened. And I encourage you, if you can, if you're able, donate. Find a Native American person, an indigenous person, and buy from them. Donate to causes. Buy from them. Like literally. Because the thing is, I get people aren't actively celebrating the massacre of indigenous peoples, but they kind of are, right? Like in ignorance, it doesn't mean it's not a real thing. And that's what hurts us as a nation, is pretending and sweeping all this shit underneath and acting like it's like we all know there's, one unhealthy family member and we just all pretend that they're normal and everything's fine. No one can heal if we all do that. We actually have to go, okay, I've been injured here. Oh, you have. Yes, you have. I understand. Yes. It's okay to get help for that. That's essentially what we're doing, but on a national level. And honestly, what I would really love to see is the whole holiday being redeclared and it being taught completely different in schools. Because that's the part. Even now, when I think back to little Sherry in school, it's this horrible feeling in my throat. It's like kind of like you want to throw up a little bit. And I don't want that for any Indigenous kids. I don't want any Indigenous kids out there feeling uncomfortable with their teachers in fucking headdresses and pilgrim outfits. Like, let's stop perpetuating the lie and let's actually take it back and make it something different. And like I said, I really am behind a harvest holiday where you get to love on your family and you donate or you buy from an Indigenous person. Like, as a nation, what would happen if that happened? What would happen for so many Native Americans in their lives? Like, that would be great. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm doing. I shall be finding, I am a Native American, so I could just give myself some money, but I will be finding another Native business to purchase from. And I can actually put some here in the, some links to people in the comments here. I will. And causes. All right. Thank you so much. And in case you haven't, one last thing. If this is the first time you've heard this, and if you are feeling really guilty, it's okay. Like, it's fine to feel the guilt, but also just know, like, we don't know to do better until we know, right? I just barely did a post about, I had written like 4 years ago an All Lives Matter post. And again, not in the current way All Lives Matter is used, but again, I didn't understand fully. And once I did, you'll see me, right? I talk about Black Lives Matter, Brown Lives Matter, LGBTQ Lives Matter. I don't talk about All Lives Matter any longer. And so when we know better, we do better. That's all there is. And so I highly encourage you to start reclaiming this for yourself in whatever way you can. Give back, donate, or buy from Indigenous people and tell the real story. Tell the real thing. And you can go research this. I didn't just pull this out of thin air. There's all different accounts out there, but I did hunt down. Some of this is from the Smithsonian. Some of this is from, I can put the references down in. All right. In case nobody has told you yet today, you are lovable as fuck just the way you are, and I'll see you another day. To send me your questions or stories, email me at loveableafshow@gmail.com. If you loved the show, please comment, like, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, please leave a review and subscribe to help me get this show in front of more women who need to know that they are lovable as fuck just as they are. Check out the show notes or go to beloveableaf.com. That's BELOVEABLEAF ableaf.com for more of how to unfuck yourself, love yourself, and be happy no matter your size. I said it before and I will say it again. You are lovable as fuck just as you are.